More gargoyles headed for the antenna.
They never learn. Restocking. Clearing the way.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Grabbing equipment.
The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them.
They will not get past this.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
I'll move first. I cannot get up.
There is more fight in you. I know it. Oracles above the soul.
I see that for
The enemy have damaged the antenna. We must hold them back.
Wait, front. Reload. Ammunition to...
We must hold them back.
Front grenade deployed. I am up. Target destroyed. Restocking. Restocking. Clearing the way.
My lord, the antenna has sustained significant damage.
God damn!
Reload.
Fuck. Shit's hard. Oh my god.
Munition secured. Reload.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna.
Restocking.
The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them. The enemy have damaged the antenna.
God damn it.
Close one. Fight back, bro. Reloading weapon.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Keep your head.
We must hold them back.
Munition secured.
We must hold them back. The enemy have damaged the antenna. My lord,
God damn it.
the antenna has sustained significant damage.
Frag grenade out. Defender. Restocking.
We must hold them back. The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Changing magazine. Throwing frag grenade. Munition secured. Grabbing equipment.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna.
Frag grenade deployed. Restocking.
Fuck.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Munition secured.
The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them. We must hold them back.
Deploying frag grenade. Here!
We must hold them back.
God damn it.
must hold them back.
Discovering. Front grenade deployed.
God damn it, die!
If the enemy destroy it, we have no means of repair. My lord, the antenna has sustained significant damage.
Oh.
Restocking. Loading up.
More gargoyles heading for the antenna.
Front grenade out. Munition secured. Take out those mines. Changing magazine.
The enemy have damaged the antenna. The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them.
Clearing the way.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
God damn it!
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
God damn it!
My lord, the antenna has sustained significant damage.
Yeah, no shit.
Recovering. Reload.
No fucking way, dude.
Changing magazine. Restocking. This will serve me well. Reloading.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna.
Incoming line.
Gotcha.
Reload.
The enemy has damaged the antenna. The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them.
Reloading with you. Changing magazine. Loading up.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Another one dead.
The enemy have damaged the antenna. We must hold them back. We must hold them back.
Courage and honor. Restocking. Munitions secured.
My lord, the antenna has sustained significant damage.
I've sustained heavy damage.
Fuck! The hell, man?
supplies. Reloading.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna.
Reloading weapon.
The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Need to reload.
The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them. We must hold them back. The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Changing magazine. Munition secure.
My lord, the antenna has sustained significant damage.
Where the f-
The enemy have damaged the antenna. We must hold them back.
White front grenade. Restocking. Resupplies. Front grenade deployed.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna. The enemy are going for the antenna. Eliminate them. The enemy have damaged the antenna. The enemy have damaged the antenna.
Stabilizing my front. Hands on the small ones. Firm up stuff.
back! We must hold them back!
Dude!
The enemy have damaged the antenna!
My God!
My lord, the antenna has sustained sick. We must hold them back!
My weapon is empty.
Dude. Really?
Changing magazine. Loading up. Restocking. Reload.
More gargoyles headed for the antenna!
Munition secured. Let us get to work.
The enemy are going for the antenna! The enemy have damaged the antenna!
Oh.
On the ground. Reload.
The enemy have damaged the antenna!
tough journey with a cancer diagnosis.
Thankfully, I had my team at the Penn Medicine Virtual Cancer Program.
Here in South Jersey,
In the hardest moment of my life,
it was an easy choice. Jeffersonville Road in Alabama. Take on Brazil. Big Noon Saturday, only on Fox. So this game, I really had a lot of mixed opinions about this game. Now, that being said, I'm gonna play it no matter what. It's a fantasy medieval action combat game. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. However, I don't really know how much I'm going to play it, because the last demo didn't really look that great, so let's take a look at it. The bosses in Crimson Desert are powerful. I mean, really powerful. As the formidable Staglord grabbed me by the ankle and hurled me into a wall, the bone-crunching impact reminded me of how the strangest blows catapulted Kratos through tree trunks and mountains in God of War. This intense, deity-like physicality lends Crimson Desert's battles a sense of genuine spectacle. These are the gladiator battles of myths. Last month, during an hour-long hands-on session at Gamescom 2024, I was able to go toe-to-toe with 3 different bosses, each of which showcased a different side to this fantasy action game's approach to battle. More recently, I was able to watch another hour of gameplay, this time a hands-off demonstration focused... I have to say, I really like the visual here of being able to see the whole town and everything. It does look good. Yeah, it does. I like that. Focused on exploration and questing. I know that. Together, these demos have given me a good indication of what Crimson Desert is. A game with combat that feels like a mix of God of War and Dragon's Dogma, set in a wider world where what you do is more reminiscent of the modern Assassin's Creeds and The Witcher 3. You play as Cliff, a warrior with a gruff Scottish accent and a no-nonsense attitude. After a prologue establishes a bloody conflict between the Greymanes and the marauding Black Bears, Cliff's major goal is made clear. Explore the continent of Pywell in search of his surviving Greymane allies who have been scattered following the battle. The bulk of the hands-off demonstration is set in Hernand, a medieval town populated by a fun range of fantasy races that wouldn't look out of place in any Tolkien-esque fantasy story. Cliff's interactions around its very beautifully rendered streets and roads are very much what you'd expect of a modern open-world action-adventure game. I think that the main thing that really makes this game look good to me is the visuals of, like, the environment. If you want my honest opinion, I actually don't think the combat looks that great. I think that if you compare this to something like the Kazan First Berserker game, you'd see that Kazan looks so much better. It does. The combat looks so much better, so much cleaner. And I think especially, like, if you compare this to something like Wukong, or even Vindictus, like the new demo that they had put out, I think this is inferior. A horse you can whistle for, NPCs to be spoken to, and hostile regions to infiltrate. The last one is where Crimson Desert has a little fun, as the demo shows Cliff changing into Hernandian banquet attire in order to walk past the castle's guards unnoticed. Just like Dragon's Dogma. Wait.
Seems like a permit. No clue where he got it.
Yeah.
We don't look like the troublemaking type.
Right.
He can pass then.
I'm gonna go.
Much like how you can wear disguises in games like Hitman and Kingdom Come Deliverance. I hope there are plenty of opportunities to do this, and various outcomes to your trickery. It would be fun if you could use disguises to open up new conversations, as well as gain entry into forbidden areas. Inside the castle, Cliff pilfers an Abyss artifact, which is where Crimson Desert gets a little more unusual. The device opens up a pixelated portal in a wall, and walking through it transports Cliff to the Library of Providence. There, an alchemist called Alaston reveals that the library is at the center of all worlds, and that there are beings who plan to bring everything to nothingness.
What is the reason you brought me here?
There are beings who brought chaos to Providence. The rifts they have created will return everything to
I feel like a lot of games like this, whether it's Black
with storytelling. I think the stories suck. I do.
While I can't say I'm impressed by Crimson Desert's writing in this demo, this exchange and several others feel cluttered and wrapped up in themselves. But it does point to a much grander, more mythical plot beyond Cliff's hunt for his allies. That ambition of something larger is made abundantly clear when Alustin's ally, White Crow, gives Cliff the glider-like Crow Wings ability, which allows him to leap off the library's floating island and reenact the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's title sequence.
Yeah, this is really cool. Like, the visuals of this are amazing. I love this.
You think this beef is on sale? Not anymore. Aldi doesn't play pricing games on USDA choice beef. They have low prices every day.
Everything we don't do is for you. It's an Aldi thing.
Dear Aphrodite, send me my dry, sensitive skin a lotion I can love.
You need Native. Long-lasting moisturizing lotion that's dermatologist tested on sensitive skin. Lotion you love isn't a myth. Shop Native today.
It's a little bold to use this motif. Can developer Pearl Abyss really craft something that lives up to the wider meaning of that iconic visual? But even if it falls short, the
Probably not. My expectations for this game is that I think this game will be an 8. I think it will be a 7.5 to an 8.
some view and
I can
subsequent
actually
drive to
see it
Earth
being
is
a
a
7.
thrill all the same.
Like an
On the
unironic
ground
7.
in Hernand, a local peacekeeper tasks Cliff with finding and eliminating some local bandits who fight using a red mist. Heading out in search of such villains, Cliff comes across a burning house and throws nearby vases of water to save the clergyman trapped inside.
That's cool.
It's not clear from the demo if such objectives organically occur around the map, Red Dead Redemption 2 style, but what is soon clear is that this blaze is the work of those aforementioned bandits. The local church says one of their men, Hubert, fled the scene in an attempt to bait the enemies away, and asks Cliff to find him. The payment is another one of those Abyss artifacts, once again suggesting that the worlds beyond worlds are of vital importance to Crimson Desert's story. I hope this results in a decent amount of weirdness that helps set the largely typical setting apart from other fantasy games. Hubert is found at a bandit camp that allows the demo to show off Cliff's self-abilities. It's pretty classic stuff and looks very reminiscent of Silent Takedowns in the Assassin's Creed games. Not particularly challenging, but an alternative option to Crimson Desert's more publicised melee brawls. Hopefully when we go hands-on again, stealth will prove a worthwhile addition, rather than a shallow, tacked-on extra. With Herbert Freed,
The combat looks okay, right? But like, I played Warrior in Black Desert, right? And so, like, I don't really see a lot of innovation here. Like, I don't, like, I'm just not like, yeah, it's like mid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's closer. Maybe it's not an 8. Maybe it's a 7. That looked rough. It's not even that it looked rough. You know what it looked like? It looked like Dragon's Dogma without the Capcom polish. Like, that's kind of the way that it felt like to me.
Cliff is approached by the goblin Shakatu, a merchant of the Gold Leaves Guild. He explains that the Gold Leaves are currently under the command of the evil Splithorn. In return for killing this toxic...
I think that, like, both Monster Hunter World and Dragon's Dogma, especially Dragon's Dogma 2, has, like, a certain type of methodical, good-feeling clunkiness to it that feels like it's clunky, but it actually has a certain degree of polish and, determinism to it. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard for me to describe.
Leader, Shakatu offers money and his services, things Cliff believes will be helpful in finding the missing Greymanes.
I really wish us to
it quickly becomes clear how all these quests are linked. The Goblin Guards use red mist as part of their battle tactics, and so reveal themselves as the very same miscreants that were causing trouble for the people of Hernant.
I'm gonna really say, let's look at this again. They're really doing a good job with this enemy AI. Look at the way that the enemies interact with the players and how they move in. This enemy AI looks really good.
Clear how
Pay
all
attention
these
to it.
quests are linked. The Goblin Guards use red mist as part of their battle tactics, and so reveal themselves as the very same miscreants that were causing trouble for the people of Hernant. And so Splithorn's death not only allows
Yeah, I
Shinju
like
to
that.
take over and help Cliff, but also fulfills the task set by the Peacekeeper back in town. I hope Crimson Desert features plenty more
That's
of
pretty
these
good.
overlapping storylines and forms a wider narrative that feels enjoyably interlaced. That would certainly make
I
up.
think that also another big weakness to this is like you can have a game like this game, like what does this game remind me a lot of? It reminds me of like I think Witcher 3, right? Like I'm thinking Witcher 3 or something like that. But do I think Pearl Abyss can write a story as good as CD Projekt Red and Andrei Sapkowski? I mean, you know, right?
For the uneven quality of the writing
Yeah.
shown in the demo. Splithorn acts as the culminating boss fight of the hands-off demo, which brings us to the much more exciting side of Crimson Desert. He's agile and aggressive, wielding a sword that emits blasts of wind in vertical and horizontal patterns, forcing Cliff to dodge and block as he attempts to close the distance. But he's a pipsqueak compared to the brutes I faced myself in the hands-on demo at Gamescom. The first of the three bosses I clashed with was the Stag Lord. He's a
Seemed like a decent encounter, and I like the idea of the people making a circle around the players fighting as a boss arena. I actually like the idea of that. That's interesting.
relentless attacker, charging across the battlefield like a bullet train that can suplex you at its final destination. But, despite his endless strength and capacity to throw you like a baseball, he's only human. I forced distance between us, quickly firing explosive arrows to knock him out of
That
his...
was pretty clean.
Only human. I forced distance between us, quickly firing explosive arrows to knock him out of his attack pattern and open up a
You
window.
guys are bringing up a good point. Somebody in chat said there's a lot of particles. Like, yeah, let's pay attention to how much like spell effects and particles there are. Yeah, it sure is a lot. Pearl Abyss does the best combat. I really think that people glaze Black Desert way too much. I think that in 2016, when it came out in the West, I think it was 2016, maybe it was 2017, when it came out, like, yeah, sure, you could have said that. But nowadays, I don't think that it really stands up to modern day quality. I just don't.
Though to bury my blade in his back. The Stag Lord proves a real challenge of a fight. Crimson Desert is not even remotely as Souls-like, but it's not afraid to make you work really hard for victory. I spent much of the lengthy fight learning the complexities of its combat system. Similar to this year's Dragon's Dogma 2, there's no lock-on, and so I have to be mindful of where I position Cliff and where his sword will land. Rolling forward allows me to instantly follow up with a sweep kick that surprises my foe, and then hitting both the light and heavy attack buttons together unleashes a wide, particle effect spraying strike that cleaves a chunk out of the Stag Lord's health bar. All this is
I
speed.
will say that if you want to look at the animations of the NPCs, I think the animations are done quite well, and they are very clean. Like, they're well telegraphed, and the game seems like it plays relatively well.
Without sacrificing weight. It feels fantastic, but it's also easy to let things run away from you. I soon realise I need to be chowing down on health restoring food with addiction-like frequency.
That's cool. I like that. Okay.
With the Stag Lord defeated, I take his mighty sword and shield, and the demo skips me ahead in the story, throwing me into snow-coated lands.
That's
Here,
cool.
Cliff is looking for children who have seemingly been sacrificed to some kind of mountain spirit. Such a spirit turns out to be the White Horn, a sort of antlered,
Yeah, I saw
abominable
this
snow
before.
deer that acts as the first showcase of just how different each of Crimson Desert's bosses can be. This colossal creature moves like a bucking bronco, and its galloping charges cause the mountains around us to break out in miniature avalanches that leave me temporarily frozen in place. Thankfully, after striking it so much that its white fur is stained almost completely red, I'm able to clamber onto its back
part with that is that you had the pawns. Like, I don't know why more games don't use the pawn system. I feel like it really made Dragon's Dogma 1 and 2 so much more interesting. I loved it.
Unlike the little split horn back at the Goblin Camp, these much larger bosses have 3 health bars, with each one eliminated increasing the intensity of the fight. But where the Staglord and White Horn scraps seem to escalate much like many other action game boss battles, my final battle against the Queen Stoneback Crab demonstrated Crimson Dead's ambition to create memorable moments through very different mechanics. The Queen Stoneback Crab is colossally big. It fills the screen, and smartly, you can't fight it by just hacking away at its shins.
Yeah.
Instead, the battle is a puzzle set piece that's clearly inspired by Shadow of the Colossus. I clamber onto the crab's stony shell and grab onto the grass
I never beat that game.
holding on for dear life while pulling myself up towards a trio of rock formations. Using a special punch skill, I shatter each of the rocks to expose a weak point that I plunge my blade into. Each open wound causes a geyser of water to blast out, which not only provides a visual spectacle, but also throws me high into the air. From above, I'm able to float down using the Crow Wings ability and plan on how to tackle the next stage. Now I'm tasked with destroying the pottery-like crown at the peak of Crab's mountain-like shell. A task completed by swinging Spider-Man style from a web and colliding with the pottery at full speed. It's all delightfully bonkers. My hour-long session wasn't quite...
I gotta admit, that was cool. Yeah, that was actually cool. Let's watch that again.
Web and colliding with the pottery at full speed. It's all delightfully bonkers. My hour-long session wasn't quite long enough to try all 4 of the bosses the demo had to offer, but a video presentation provided a quick insight into the only one I missed, the Reed Devil, a weird little guy who creates copies of himself that can only be defeated by destroying totems that are built during the battle. Along with the 3 I fought, all 4 bosses make a promise that Crimson Desert features an array of creative, unique centerpiece battles. If they're all like this, then Pearl Abyss could really have something special on his hands. I'm similarly impressed by the...
I mean, I wish that they, like, I don't know, like, are you only able to use a sword and shield? Like, can I just use a greatsword? Like, cause I just feel like playing, I mean, an unawakened warrior in BDO is kind of boring. Like, there are more weapons? Yeah, I guess I hope they'll show them soon.
Combat systems fundamentals. Yes, it's all quite Fantasy 101. Bows, swords, shields, parries, but it's all delightfully aggressive and properly impactful. There's a seemingly deep combo system too, and it's because of that I wish the demo had had a section that was a little more relaxed for me to sample. The heat of a relentless boss battle isn't quite the space to learn and perfect button sequences, but I got a good feeling you can pull off some cool stuff based on the combos that I did learn.
I think that you can assume that to be true. Like, guaranteed this game has combos. Because BDO has combos. And this game is made by the people that made BDO. Yeah, 100% that's what's going to happen. Like, yeah, Space Marine 2 has combos. Like, a lot of games now have combos. Like, I mean, even Bloodborne has combos.
Green light for Crimson Desert's combat then. As for its adventuring chops, things are looking a little more conventional. Pearl Abyss certainly seems to be making a solid enough transition from the MMORPG design of Black Desert Online into single-player territory. But I don't think anything shown in the hands-off demo particularly breaks new ground.
Yeah.
Much of it is very familiar if you've played the likes of Assassin's Creed or The Witcher 3. Nonetheless, it does look largely well put together. While I do hope that the Abyss Artifact storyline goes suitably off the wall, I'd like to see the more typical fantasy storylines find suitable hooks to ensure regular gameplay feels more varied and creative than what we've seen so far. With a combat system that shifts from classic sword and
This is one of the big problems that a lot of games have, is that they really struggle to create a dynamic world. And I think, like, for example, like Dragon's Dogma has this issue. And I think also, I think that's the main example I would have. Witcher 3, I haven't really played it enough to, like, really have, like, a good idea of it. But a lot of these open world games, there's, like, not a lot of random events that happen that are interesting and engaging. And I think that's one part of it. Like, New World doesn't do a very good job of this either as an MMO. So, I don't know if they can do that, because it's like, you guys know in like Dragon's Dogma, for example, like, there's like 3 different random events that can occur. There's like a griffin that can land on you, there's like a person that will be attacked, or you have to like escort somebody around, right? It's like, it's very uniform.
With action to slingshotting Spider-Man style round a walking mountain, the questing and exploration side of Crimson Desert ideally also needs to aspire to that kind of diversity. But
this right here made my enthusiasm for the game go up substantially, and I would say more than anything else in this video. Because that's a dynamic and interesting enough combat situation for me to think that, yeah, maybe they are actually putting some good ideas in here.
Doesn't this latest slice of gameplay certainly suggest that the bridges between epic boss battles will be solid, if not the most memorable aspect of the experience? For more from Crimson Desert, check out the entire 52-minute gameplay demo. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Yeah, this looks pretty decent. I mean, like, I'm totally gonna play this when it comes out. Right? I mean, it's not even a question. Like, maybe it's a 7 out of 10 game. I think it probably is a 7 out of 10 game the more that I look at it. But, you know, for me as a fan of this style of game, I will probably play it. I don't trust them. Well, I'm not really listening to what IGN's saying. I'm just looking at the screen and thinking, like, is what I'm looking at good or bad? That's all I care about. Like, I don't care what something is saying. That can help, maybe. But, like, you're always going to take that with a grain of salt. I think that's smart. Extrapolating screen animations? Yeah, definitely. It looks kind of soulless. I think you're totally right. I do. I think that you're completely right. This game doesn't seem like it has the same type of like, I don't know, like vibe?